Imagine a world without rules, laws, or even language. Yet one thing bound our ancestors together: sex. Not just an act of desire, but a survival strategy. What if I told you that the way early humans had sex shaped trust, power, and even the future of civilization today? We're stepping back into the Stone Age to uncover how intimacy without rules became humanity's greatest tool for survival. Imagine waking up in a world where survival is never guaranteed. The forests around you hide sharp-toothed predators, winters freeze, rivers solid, and every hunt could be your last. Food is scarce, threats are everywhere, and one wrong move can kill a tribe. In this unforgiving environment, strength alone wasn't enough to keep humans alive. So how did early humans manage to survive when so many other species disappeared? The surprising answer lies in intimacy. For our ancestors, sex was not just about reproduction, it was a survival tool. When two people shared intimacy, it wasn't only about desire. It created loyalty, trust, and a sense of we're in this together. Think of it like this. Before setting out on a dangerous mammoth hunt, bonds had to be strong. Every spear thrown, every back watched, depended on cooperation. Intimacy was one of the fastest ways to build those invisible bonds. Anthropologists studying tribal societies today find the same patterns. Sex often happens before risky hunts, long migrations, or moments of high danger. Why? Because it creates reassurance, a signal that says, "I've got your back." Now, picture a small tribe gathered at dawn. Men prepare their spears, women tend to the fire, and children cling to their mothers. But before anyone steps into the dangers of the wild, another ritual unfolds, not openly, not dramatically, but subtly. Couples share quiet moments of intimacy, not just for pleasure, but as a pact of loyalty. Sex wasn't random or reckless, it was strategic. For early humans, intimacy was a silent agreement. I trust you. I'll protect you. I'll stand with you. This bond could mean the difference between life and death during a hunt or a raid. In many ways, sex became the earliest form of social contract, but it didn't stop at couples. Alliances within the tribe often grew stronger because of these shared bonds. A hunter who shared intimacy with multiple partners gained influence. A woman who built alliances through closeness ensured her children and resources were better protected. It wasn't just survival of the fittest, it was survival of the most connected. Even eye contact, touches, or playful gestures carried weight. These weren't meaningless signals. They were codes of loyalty and reassurance in a world where every choice mattered. As night fell over the harsh Stone Age world, firelight flickered across tired faces. The day's hunt was over, but survival didn't stop with food. What truly kept the tribe together wasn't just spears or fire, it was intimacy. Couples huddled close, not just for warmth, but for protection, reassurance, and shared responsibility. A sexual bond often meant more than reproduction, it created a team. Partners looked after each other's children, guarded against predators, and ensured food was shared fairly. In this way, sex was more than physical, it became the glue holding the fragile tribe together. Without those connections, groups risked splintering apart under the pressure of hunger, jealousy, or conflict. Anthropologists suggest these early bonds helped reduce violence. Instead of constant rivalries, intimacy encouraged cooperation. Tribes with stronger emotional ties were more resilient, better at hunting together, and more capable of surviving famine or attack. Even in the simplest caress or shared glance, Early humans found a way to say, "You're safe with me. We're stronger together." In a world where danger lurked in every shadow, intimacy was not a luxury, it was a survival strategy. If you found this video thought-provoking, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on the bell icon so you never miss our deep dives. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. What stood out to you the most? Your support helps us bring you even more amazing stories and insights. Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring. Sex in the prehistoric world was never just about attraction, it was about leverage. Within small tribes, those who could form multiple bonds often gained respect, resources, and even power. A skilled hunter might use intimacy as a way to secure loyalty, while a strong gatherer could strengthen her influence by forming partnerships that guaranteed protection and food around the evening fire. Subtle signals of desire shaped the tribes. Hierarchy, a glance, a touch, or a whispered gesture could ripple through the group like an unspoken announcement. Alliances were shifting, rivalries simmering, and loyalties being tested. This wasn't random, it was political. Early humans discovered that sex could prevent conflict, reward cooperation, and quietly elevate one's standing within the group. But this power came with risk. Forbidden pairings and jealousy sparked disputes, forcing tribes to adapt and create unwritten rules about who could pair with whom, when, and under what circumstances. These early social codes weren't carved into stone, they were carved into behavior in this way. Desire itself became a kind of language, one that shaped leadership, managed tension, and influenced survival as much as strength or hunting skill. Beyond the firelight, sex often served as a quiet but powerful form of negotiation. Imagine a hunter returning with a rare killer-fresh deer or a mammoth cut. Offering this wasn't just generosity, it was a signal. Sharing food could mean, "I choose you, I trust you, stand with me." In this way, intimacy and survival were linked. Sex became both a reward and a promise. Partnerships weren't always about passion, they were strategic. A woman might align with a skilled hunter, not only for protection, but also to ensure her children had food and safety. A man might seek intimacy with someone connected to another group, securing an alliance that stretched beyond his own camp. These unions strengthened tribes and built bridges between rival groups. At the same time, sexual bonds could diffuse conflict. Instead of violence over resources or territory, a union between individuals created peace treaties without words. It was politics at its most primal, an unspoken deal sealed not with contracts, but with connection in many ways. Early humans were practicing diplomacy long before kingdoms and crowns existed. Sex wasn't just reproduction, it was survival. Strategy, influence, and negotiation rolled into one. But intimacy wasn't without risk. In the prehistoric world, attraction also created jealousy, rivalry, and tension within the tribe. Forbidden pairings, say, a leader's partner bonding with someone else could ignite disputes that threatened group harmony. These challenges forced early humans to create unspoken rules. There were no written laws, but patterns emerged. Respect existing bonds, share fairly, avoid betrayal. These were the invisible threads that kept fragile tribes from splintering. Breaking them could mean exile, loss of protection, or even death. In a world where survival depended on cooperation, being cast out was a punishment worse than violence. At the same time, those who skillfully navigated these rules often gained status. Leaders weren't always the strongest fighters, they were the ones who could balance attraction, loyalty, and conflict with tact. Sex shaped politics, yes, but it also shaped leadership. The individuals who managed intimacy wisely became the glue that held groups together. So while fire, tools, and weapons built the material foundation of early life, it was these subtle sexual dynamics that quietly dictated power, influence, and even who lived or died. Desire was primal, but managing it was the first real test of human intelligence. By the time early humans began forming more stable groups, something remarkable happened. Sex stopped being just a fleeting act of desire and became the seed of family. A single union between two individuals could ripple across generations, not only passing on genes, but also passing on knowledge, skills, and survival strategies. Think about it when a hunter paired with a reliable partner. The benefits went far beyond reproduction. The couple shared food, protection, and the burden of raising children. Children who grew up with two caregivers had a far greater chance of survival in a harsh world filled with predators and scarcity. These early family units created the foundation of something bigger, culture. Around the campfire, parents taught children how to craft tools, track animals, or read the stars. Skills and stories weren't lost, they were inherited. And at the heart of this transfer was intimacy. Without stable pair bonds forged through sex and trust, this continuity of knowledge might never have existed in this way. Intimacy became more than an instinct, became a teaching tool, a survival mechanism, and the building block of society itself. As tribes expanded, intimacy shaped not just families, but the movement of entire populations. Early humans didn't migrate aimlessly, they moved with strategy. Sex, surprisingly, was at the core of this decision-making. Pairing within a small tribe risked inbreeding, weakening future generations. To survive, groups often sought new partners beyond their immediate circle. This wasn't just about it was biology and strategy working hand in hand. By seeking bonds with distant groups, tribes expanded their genetic pool, making their people healthier and more resilient. But it wasn't only genetics. Sexual alliances also forged peace between tribes. A union between members of two different groups could mean the difference between conflict and cooperation. One intimate bond could prevent bloodshed, secure food-sharing agreements, or even ensure mutual protection against predators. Migration, then, wasn't just about following herds or escaping famine. It was about weaving a web of connections, partnerships, and family ties that ensured long-term survival. In this sense, sex acted as both compass and glue, guiding humans across continents while binding them together in unity. By the time humans began forming stable communities, sex had evolved far beyond survival, and alliances it had become culture. Around the firelight, rituals emerged. Tribes developed dances, songs, and even early artwork to symbolize fertility, loyalty, and desire. These weren't simply entertainment, they encoded lessons. A dance celebrating partnership taught cooperation. A cave painting of fertility carried a reminder of the tribe's survival needs. Sex also influenced leadership. The most respected individuals weren't always the fiercest hunters. Often, they were those who could manage relationships, build trust, and maintain peace. Intimacy became a kind of social currency, strengthening families, securing allies, and reducing rivalries. Leaders understood that bonds of the heart and body could unify better than brute force. This foundation shaped the path of civilization. Desire became attachment, attachment became commitment, and commitment built the first stable societies. From whispered promises in caves to symbolic carvings passed between lovers, intimacy was both private and profoundly public. It held tribes together in the end. Sex wasn't only about pleasure or survival. It was the silent architect of humanity's progress, guiding us from scattered tribes to the roots of modern civilization.